Welcome back to Cash Budget Insights, where I'm working on seeing if this whole cash budgeting thing really works. I'm personally tracking every dollar using a zero-based budget due to my daughter's chronic illness, as well as controlling some of my own emotional impulse spending on the really hard days. I would love for you to give this video a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. That's a free way to throw a little support my way and help this channel grow. If you haven't heard it today, I want you to know you're awesome, you're valuable, and you have a purpose. Now let's dive in. Well, happy February 1st. Thank you so much for tuning in to my chaotic mess of a budgeting video. I'm so happy to have you here. Make yourself comfy because it's going to be an interesting one. I need to not only do my cash planning for this first week of February, I also am going to need to just plan out the month. So I decided just to do that in one video. So we're going to start by using our money map worksheet that I have. So I'm going to grab that for February. So this is the money map that I use. You can use this, whether you get paid every week, every month like we do. It's really however you want to use it. There's a lot of flexibility. And in regards to this, to me, this is just kind of a blueprint or an idea, an overview for the month. So that is what I'm going to fill out really quick because without this, it's really hard for me to stay on track. And then we are going to do our cash planning. If you have questions on anything that I'm using today, they're typically down in the description. Let's go ahead and get started with our fixed expenses. So I've got basically all of these lines that get filled up. So let me fill this in really quick. Okay, now that I have all of my bills in there, so to me, these fixed expenses are things that reoccur every month and they have usually a date tied to them and a specific amount. So it's not like a fluctuating amount. Now, personally, for like my utilities, we don't have that. They can set that up where it's a budgeted amount, but we actually just pay whatever we use. I'm assuming for the month prior is how that works. But for the most part, these are going to be the same regurgitated amounts day in and day out. My next section here is going to be flexible expenses. To me, these are ones that I really want to put parameters on, and it's really the main reason that I'm doing the cash budgeting system so that I can stay within those parameters. I do get paid once a month, and I do plan on what I want to use for the whole month. But when I do my cash planning, I actually only take out about a week at a time. That's gotten me into a little trouble when I do some bulk buying in my grocery category. But for the most part, I've worked it out. It's not my favorite thing when I go over each week, but sometimes I just need to get a bulk order in the beginning of the month, and my grocery envelope really hasn't bulked up. But yeah, it's a little bit more work to move things around, but that's what I've been doing, and it's somewhat been keeping me on budget. So I'm going to keep doing that for the month of February. So let me go ahead and write in my categories. Okay, so I figured I'd go ahead and walk you through what I'm allocating for this month. For groceries, we're actually going to do $1,300 for the month. For gas, I am going to be adding in $100, and this one I do keep digital, but I still like to put it in this area of my budget. And then for fun, I am going to do $100 as well. Miscellaneous will be $100. Household, I'm only going to do $40 because I actually have quite a bit in my envelope still for that one. And then for kids, we will do $100, and out to eat, I am also going to do $100. Okay, so I'm just going to add these up. Okay, and it looks like our total is going to be $1,840 that we are allocating into this section of our budget. Now, for debt, we have a payment of $1,903 that we put towards debt every month. So I'm just going to jot that down here. And then we do use our credit cards. We put small transactions on them and we pay them off every single month. We are very diligent about this. In fact, I have them set up as auto payments, and that way we're still able to increase our credit score and keep that elevated even when we're doing like a zero-based cash-based budget. All right, now I have some other categories that I put under future planning. For me, these really don't fit anywhere else. So those for me are haircuts. All right, for haircuts, we're going to be adding $40. And that's for the whole month. And then self-care, we are going to add 100. Clothing, we will add 75. For the groomer, we are going to add 100 there as well. For home goods, we're going to add 50. And then for medical and pharmacy both, we're going to add 50 for those as well. And this is kind of my bare bones budget of what I'm going to use to figure out how I want to allocate our income throughout the month of February. So now I'm going to head over to my cash planning worksheet. And this is where I'm actually going to write out what denominations I want to get from the bank in order to fill my envelopes. So let me go ahead and jot down the categories that I'm going to be giving to this week, and then we can go ahead and allocate funds and denominations together. All right, so for grocery, I'm going to go ahead and do $3.25 for this week. So we're going to do 300s, a 20, and a 5. For fun, I am going to pull out 50, and we're just going to do a 50. Miscellaneous, I'm also going to pull out a 50. Okay, and then for household, I'm actually going to pull out 40, so we're going to get two 20s. For kids, we will pull out a 50 as well. My kids are definitely going to be having some Valentine's Day activities, so I think for this one, I'm going to get two 20s and a 10. That way I have a little bit of smaller bills. Out to eat, let's go ahead and we will get, let's get 60 for out to eat. So we will get 2, 4, 6, 3 20s. All right, and then for hair, I need to add 40, so I'm going to get that full amount because my boys are all due for haircuts. So that's going to be two 20s. For self-care, I think this week I am going to pull out 75. So that is going to be a 50, 60, 70, and a 5. All right, so we have a 50, a 20, and a 5 for that one. For clothing, we are going to pull out 40, and we're going to do two 20s. Now for the groomer, I really need to catch up on. So for the groomer, we're going to pull out 100, and I am going to get that, I think I'm going to get that actually in 20s because I never know exactly what it's going to be, and this will give me a little wiggle room. So let's do 5 20s. For home goods, we are going to just pull out a 50. So that's going to be there. And then medical and pharmacy are each going to be 50 as well. Okay, and then for my savings challenges. For my savings challenges, I'm actually going to up the amount that I've typically been giving because I just really enjoy it. So I'm actually going to now be giving 125, at least for this first week, and that might change later on. But for this one, I think what we're going to do is figuring this one out is always the hardest for me. Okay, so I'm going to do 5 10s, 9 5s, and 30 1s for that one. So let me go ahead and add this all up. So 31s would be $30. And then we're going to have 10 5s, which would be 50. We will have 6 10s, which is 60. Oh goodness, let's see. We have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Looks like 18 20s, which is going to be 360. And then I'm getting 6 50s, which is going to be 300. And then 300s, which is 300. So let me add up these amounts and just make sure that everything is coming up sunshine. Okay, wow, I had some issues there. I think I must have fat fingered that when I initially added it up, and it threw me off. But I did forget to count one of my 5s initially, so let me just white this out so it's a little bit cleaner. So there we go. Okay, so I'm going to be getting a total of 1,105 for week 1, and I am always changing how I do things to try out different, techniques and see what works for me. But this is what I am going to be picking up from the bank today, and getting cash stuff tomorrow. So I will be on tomorrow cash stuffing this $1,105. So I'm so happy that you joined me today. I wish you the best of luck setting up your February budget. Hopefully this inspired you to get back out your budget book and make a plan for the month. Even if you can't keep everything perfect, at least setting up to set yourself up for success, writing down some guidelines and projecting what some of those upcoming events are going to be. I know for us, we're going to have some extra expenses with Valentine's Day. Not very much, but a little bit. I'll probably cash fund that from what I have saved up in my Valentine's Day envelope, as well as probably my kids' envelope, because that's kind of why I have that kids option in here, just for excess money for different events they have. And to be honest with you, my husband and I don't really celebrate Valentine's Day, but the kids do. They like to do those little boxes with their friends from co-op, and they give each other treats and Valentine's Day cards, and it's very cute. And I think that's going to be really fun for them. So I'm excited to make sure that they all have the ability to give generously to their friends, different Valentines and candies and such. So definitely we'll have that different this month in our budget. I don't think anything else is going to be too out of the norm, but this is my plan for February. So I'm excited to hear from you guys if you've gotten your budget plans all set for February. But this is all I have for you today. I'll see you next time.
And it shows if I'm honest.